Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to what is our third Champions League review show of this season. I am joined, as always, with Ed. Ed, how are you doing?
I'm good. One more game to go.
One more game to go. So, as we usually do, without further ado, we'll jump straight in. And the first game, we'll always do it Group A to H because it's just easier to do it that way. First game of the week saw Lokomotiv Moscow lose to RB Salzburg. I watched this game. There was a scrappy first goal. The second goal, absolutely glorious ball over the top from the halfway line, drops to whoever it was, and it's kind of like the minute the ball touches the floor, sweeps it across for a beautiful pass. And the final goal from Adeyemi, I think it was the 18-year-old's first Champions League goal. Not really too much went on. It was expected that Salzburg were going to win this game. It was standard. Moscow only got a goal through their penalty. Not really too much to say about this game, really. That is pretty much it. But there was a big clash in that group. It was Atletico Madrid versus Bayern Munich, which finished 1-1. Shouldn't have finished 1-1. It should have been out of sight for Atletico Madrid. João Felix opened the scoring on the 26th minute with a great goal. And then from then onwards, it was all Atletico Madrid. João Felix hit the bar. There was a few one-on-ones. Bayern had rested quite a few players. Atletico were also missing a few players. But it was very much as you'd expect from Atletico team, Ed. Did you see any of the game?
Yeah, I did. But to be fair, it was Bayern Munich B. It felt like it didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, this was a missed opportunity for Atletico Madrid. Also, a missed opportunity for Lokomotiv because Atletico have left themselves a bit insecure in their knockout stage qualification. So for Bayern Munich to be so fortunate to be able to put out a second string side, Atletico have completely missed an opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, Bayern only equalised in the 86th minute with a penalty from Thomas Muller. It was a clear penalty. Philippe had only just been brought on. He did make a couple of good blocks and a goal line clearance, but then he'd only been on the pitch about 8 minutes. Muller turned inside him, and it was just the laziest leg stick out you've ever seen. Goes down, clear penalty, and then Muller dispatched it past Jan Oblak. So, yeah, as you were saying, let's have a look at the table because, as you were saying, it leaves Atletico with a lot to do, and it really does because going into the final game of the group stage, Bayern have played 5, won 4, drawn 1, so they're on 13, and it's getting quite congested down there. Atletico are second on 6 points, Salzburg on 4, and Lokomotiv Moscow on 3. Now, the final game of the season, if I'm right, is that Atletico going to
Salzburg,
yeah. I believe so. So if Salzburg win that, we probably should have checked that first.
I'm just checking it now. I'm fairly sure. Yeah, they're away at Salzburg, so that's a tough game.
A point season through though, so they should be all right. But anything other than if Salzburg win, they go through instead, which would be an absolute disaster for Atletico Madrid because you look at that group, okay, there's Bayern in there, but you would always expect Atletico to go through with Bayern in that group.
I mean, yeah, before, but I mean, it's all well and good saying they only need a point. They've picked up 6 points from a possible 15.
Yeah, that isn't particularly great. And they've got a -3 goal difference, which is really surprising for a Simeone team to have a minus goal difference.
With the likes of Luis Suarez, João Felix, it's incredible. So I wouldn't be surprised if they didn't turn up against Salzburg. But
João Felix last night was one of those. It was one of those performances where you can tell a player is still young. Like he scored his goal, but then there were chances where he could have been clinical and could have taken a touch here, taken a touch there, rather than snapping at shots. And it was a tale of like 2 games sort of thing, not 2 halves, but 2 games for João Felix, where yeah he scored his goal, but he could have they could have been 2-3-0 up. And the game's gone. But that wasn't the case. So they are leaving it all until the final game of the season. Another team that have left themselves so much to do. While we're talking about teams from Madrid that have left themselves too much to do in the Champions League, Shakhtar Donetsk 2, Real Madrid 0. Did you see this coming, Ed?
I mean, no, I didn't see it coming, but I wouldn't have been surprised if they dropped points and maybe got a draw because this has been the most contested group. Real Madrid and Inter Milan were clear favourites going into it. Every week they disappoint me. Even when they win, they disappoint me. Real Madrid have only picked up points because they've been playing Inter, who have been just worse than them. Shakhtar Donetsk have now done the double over Real Madrid, which is incredible. And where are Shakhtar sitting? Still third. I mean, how often do you do? Yeah, they are. So you do the double over Real Madrid, and you still sit third in the group. It's crazy. I think every single team can qualify, if that's right. Every single team can qualify in this group.
I want to check that.
But if you just bring up the table briefly.
Yeah, true. Let's just bring up the table briefly. They're currently second on head-to-head.
Everyone can technically qualify. So,
honestly, so the first, we'll just talk about this quickly. So the first Shakhtar goal, the ball's kind of like in and around the edge of the box sort of thing. Mendy sticks a foot in to make the tackle. Now, he wins the ball, and the ball goes back towards the Real Madrid 6-yard box. And for whatever reason, Varane, not just Varane, I know Varane's getting stick for this, but the whole Madrid back three, well, not back three, but the other three defenders that are stood there all kind of turn their backs and just leave the ball, expecting either the keeper to come and get it or someone behind me will deal with it. And who was it that scored? Dentinho literally just strolls in behind. It wasn't even taxing. He literally walked in behind, finished it 1-0. All the Madrid defenders looking at each other, asking each other questions. It was an absolute shambles. And then even then, it wasn't like it was a smash and grab really, because I didn't really see Real Madrid offering anything. I didn't think of a way they'd get back into the game. Benzema didn't look his usual self. There wasn't really too much going on from Madrid.
Yeah. Can I ask you, what do you think about Real Madrid fans, not just in general, but calling for Zinedine Zidane's job?
But who are you going to get?
No, but I mean, who are Real Madrid fans? They are a spoiled bunch of brats. Honestly, I've even seen him boo Ronaldo when he's had a bad few.
Oh yeah, ridiculous.
They are horrendous. They're fans of brands. I mean, Zinedine Zidane has won 2 La Ligas, 2 Copa Españas, 3 Champions Leagues, 2 Super Cups, and 2 FIFA Club World Cups. He's struggling in the group stage, and they're all about bidding him off.
Don't forget this man.
In the world, you could do that and be treated like that.
This was a guy that broke the curse of no team had ever won the Champions League back to back, and the guys didn't they win it 3 times back to back? Like
he ends up beating the record and setting a brand new one.
Yeah. Like he's not like listen, he's not having a great time with it. Real Madrid aren't having a great time with it. They're going through a transition, right? And the players there aren't that great. They brought in Hazard for however much money a year or 2 ago. When is he going to step up and be counted at Real Madrid? It literally looks to me like he's gone out there. It's almost, when a player goes to China or goes to the MLS. He's gone to Madrid. He's got his move. He's got his big transfer. He's got his big contract. And now it's it. Literally feet up on the sun lounger. Don't worry about it. Like what? He's not putting any graft. Benzema, as class as he is, isn't getting any. He's not getting any younger. And you look around that Real Madrid team. We've said this before. The same with Barcelona. Honestly, it's such an aging team. They do have good young players coming through. Valverde, Odegaard. They do have good players, but they're surrounded by these pensioners that it's not their fault, and I don't think it's Zidane's fault either, because Madrid are very much like another club I'm not going to keep banging on about, but the players they seem to sign have always been marquee, get the shirt sales, not necessarily what they need at the time. They didn't need Eden Hazard when they brought Hazard. That was the least of their worries. Like the fact their striker, they've got Benzema, right? Their solution to that problem was buying back Mariano, who they sent out on they sold with a buyback. I think it was he at Lyon? I think he was somewhere in France. I think it was Lyon. But they brought him back within a year. He's been awful. And I just think Real Madrid are in trouble. And someone needs to steady the ship. And I think it will be Zidane. Like making knee-jerk reactions right now because they're losing to Shakhtar isn't the one. I don't know what's your take on it? Well,
he won the league last year, and that was the second year post Cristiano Ronaldo. They are a team which, yes, they're struggling like Barcelona, but they're much further along in terms of progress compared to Barcelona, because Barcelona haven't pulled the trigger on Messi yet. Real Madrid have had to take it on the chin for the last 2 years, and they will find a sense of identity again. They're still a good team. They'd still probably get to the quarterfinals of the Champions League, but Real Madrid standards, it's not good enough. But I think they need to be a bit more realistic about who they are, what Zidane's achieved, and what Zidane can do. I think their fan base is too big to get an accurate representation from the fans itself.
Yeah, I agree. Like they just hang in there. If you listen, Real Madrid in the Europa League is going to be a dangerous prospect if it happens. Just quickly, the second goal was just as bad defending from Real Madrid. Solomon picks the ball, who scored in the last game as well, between the two sides. Solomon picks the ball up, and he just literally runs at the Real Madrid defense. He's allowed to run. They all back off, and he just shoots from the edge of the box, and it goes in. And honestly, I don't know, like. Right, let's have a look. How much time was left in the game when the second goal went in? So the second goal goes in 82. Fair enough. But even then, with 10 minutes to go, there was no fight back. Heads dropped. Literally, with 10 minutes left, they looked like that. Like the goal had just gone in the 95th minute, and they'd just lost the World Cup final. Absolutely nothing left in the tank from Madrid. And in the same group, now this was a monster clash. This was a great game. Great game to watch. Opened the scoring from Matteo Darmian, which if you had him as your first goal scorer in this game, you're an absolute liar. He beat the goalkeeper from near post and megged him with a. It was an all right hit, but a goalkeeper of Jan Sommer's experience shouldn't be letting that in between his legs at the near post. Then player injury scored an equaliser in injury time in the first half. Great header. He's looking like such a great player, and I definitely don't expect him to be in the Bundesliga next season. I think we've already said that at the start of this season, but I definitely don't. Lukaku then made it 2-1 with this is literally the most Lukaku goal you'll ever see. It's his bread and butter. He's one-on-one with a defender, just can't contain him. His strength shrugs him off. Crisp left foot finish into the corner. Great goal. Now, quickly, while we're talking about things, talking about transitions, X, Y, Z, this happens all the time when one player or one team has a good week as opposed to one that has a bad week. So we had a bad week this week. Lukaku gets 2 goals. And the question that rears its head every time he has a half-decent performance, were United wrong in getting rid of Lukaku too soon? And it's just such a boring conversation. Like, nobody was having this conversation last season when Martial was scoring 20 goals and Lukaku was putting in half shifts. Like, it's just so boring. It's not even a factor because if Lukaku would have stayed, Greenwood wouldn't have come through. Martial wouldn't have had that season last season. So I just don't want to talk about it anymore. Just wanted to get that out of the way. Don't think it was wrong to get rid of him. He doesn't fit our system the way we play now. He did at the time we brought him, but he doesn't now. So anyway, but he scored the 3rd goal as well. Put on a plate to him from Hakimi. Great wing play. Nobody can miss from there. Player scored a consolation. Then player completed his hat trick on I think it was the 90th minute. But it was ruled out from Bolo standing in front of the goalkeeper. Now, this is one of those really, really horrible ones where, by the letter of the law, and I even said it the other week, if you're standing in front of the goalkeeper, you're standing in front of the goalkeeper. But there's not one interplayer protests. The keeper doesn't protest. And Bolo jumps over the ball to let it go under him. So I don't really think it. But, like I've said before, I want it to be the rules are rules. So he's offside, isn't he?
No, it's offside. We've got to be consistent in our game. Can I just say about Inter, though? It's about goddamn time.
Isn't it just? I mean, no disrespect to Gladbach, because I know they are top of this group. But even then, they made a struggle of this.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, like, Mönchengladbach will be disappointed they didn't get the win. Inter Milan still, stumbled over the finish line. But if they didn't get anything short of 3 points here, they would be out of the knockout stages. They might have got. Would they have got?
No, they wouldn't have got Europa League. They'd have gone straight out.
Yeah, and that's probably the end of Conte's run as Inter Milan manager.
Well, I'll tell you what. Let's look at the table now because this is the way it leaves it. Look, this is the crazy thing. So even though Inter Milan picked up a win, they're still dead bottom. So I mean, Mönchengladbach, if they'd have got a draw against Inter, they'd have been. Would they have been through? No, they wouldn't have been through. They wouldn't have been guaranteed. But basically, this is the group to watch going down to the final game. I think this in the group with United and PSG and Red Bull. Leipzig, but yeah, I mean, Inter could still not even get Europa League. I mean, they've got a win on the final day.
Well, I tell you what, Inter Milan have the best opportunity because, with no disrespect to Shakhtar, I'd probably say if you wanted to give me a team at home, because Inter Milan are playing their last game of the group game at home, I would want Shakhtar Donetsk out of their 3 oppositions. Mönchengladbach, I believe, are away at Real Madrid, so.
That's a massive game.
I mean, considering how well they've played to begin with, I still think it's going to be Real Madrid, Inter Milan in the knockout stages, despite all the criticism I've gave them. But I hope at least one of Mönchengladbach or Shakhtar gets through, just because it'll be something a bit different.
See, I really want Gladbach to go through. I think it'd be nice to see them in that they do play attractive football. And just a bit of a break from the norm. Like, obviously, when we saw that group table and we saw the groups announced, you looked at that and you thought, you felt sorry for Mönchengladbach and Shakhtar because nobody wants a group with Real Madrid and Inter. And for it to go into the final game and Mönchengladbach and Shakhtar are topping the group, it's crazy. And you love to see it. I mean,
who do you think is going to go through?
Honestly, Inter and Real Madrid.
Exactly, yeah. Because I just can't see Gladbach. I think Real Madrid have been given a lifeline by getting a home game.
Well, do you know what? I will definitely say Inter because I think Inter will beat Shakhtar. I think that as poor as they have been this season, I mean, that is a wake-up call seeing those points. Like, Conte doesn't need to get them fired up any more than just show them the table. They should be able to beat Shakhtar and they should go through. Now, Real Madrid, Mönchengladbach literally depends on what Real Madrid turn up. That could be 4-0 Madrid or it could be 4-0 Gladbach. So I honestly, with that one, I just don't know. But yeah, we'll find out next week. Moving on to one of the English teams. Not that one.
Oh, excuse me. Sorry.
Yeah, that's all right. Porto 0, Man City 0. Honestly, not really much to report from this one. City were already through, so I don't think that the foot, not so much off the gas, but the urgency sort of. Yes, it wasn't there. Only one bit that really caught my eye was City nearly scored, but Ruben Diaz trying to score for City has literally cleared the ball off the line for Porto. Like, he's tried to slide and it's come off him and gone backwards rather than going in. But yeah, like you said, both teams already through. It was
mate got a goal ruled offside. Jesus in the 85th minute. He's offside. You're busy. Clearly offside. So no, there's no dispute there.
City. I mean, what can you say? They always do this in Europe. They always absolutely breeze through the group, and I'm not saying it's because they get easy groups. They have had some sticky ones sometimes, but they always do this. They'll breeze through the group, and they just always seem to come unstuck against teams that you wouldn't expect them to, like Lyon last year. Could this finally be the year that City go all the way?
No, because this isn't the best Manchester City side I've seen, and this Bayern Munich side is the best Bayern Munich side I've seen in years.
Fair enough. So how far realistically can you see City getting?
Unless they give me a reason, unless they go on a run again in the league, I just can't see them going further than the quarterfinals again because they're just too inconsistent. Remember, this is a two-legged affair this time. Their opportunity was last year.
Yeah, that was
they
the best
tend to blow it over 180 minutes.
Also in that group, Marseille. Now, this ends.
I had a button for this, a big balloon. There was balloons were going to come down.
Yeah. So not only did they win, but this actually ends 13, not even just 13 matches without a win, 13 straight defeats in the Champions League Marseille had before this game. Listen, I wasn't expecting anything from this game because Olympiacos have only scored one goal in the whole Champions League campaign this season, and that was against Marseille in match 1. So I wasn't expecting too much. Although Olympiacos took the lead from Kamara, absolutely stunning volley, top bins, no one's stopping that. And then, I mean, if Marseille were going to need help to win a game, this was it. 2 penalties from Dimitri Payet. First one was a Stonewall penalty. Second one, it was a handball on the edge of I think this is the one I'm talking about. It was handball on the edge of the box, but it was like very close to being in or out. Both penalties that Payet put them top bins. I'm really surprised that he's been allowed to have that dodgy haircut, but that's a different conversation for a different day. Olympiacos and Marseille, currently, this is what the table looks like for them. It's pretty grim reading.
This is the easiest group after Chelsea's, I'd say.
Yeah, I mean, yes, City would have looked at that, and your only problem, if you thought you'd have had any banana skins, would have been Porto. They haven't had a problem with them at all.
I think Olympiacos won their first game, lost the 4 after, where Marseille lost the first 4 games and won the 5th one. So their form is literally mirrors each other.
Yeah, so Olympiacos and Marseille have literally only picked up points from each other. That's it. But it's all to play for the 2 of them going into the final game, because if either of them can get a point, I mean, one of them can go Europa League. So if both of them lose on the final day of the season, basically Olympiacos just don't need to lose by X amount of goals, and
2 goals. But then I imagine it goes
swing
on yellow cards and that base, so it'll go down to disciplinary, won't it? If they got the same amount of goal difference.
Well, Marseille will lose final day. So as long as Olympiacos don't lose as bad or by 2 or more goals than Marseille, they'll be fine. City just storm through the group as you'd expect. Nothing much more.
Phil Foden with that child's haircut. Honestly, it makes me laugh all the time. Like, he looks like he looks like you could put a school tie around his head, and it looks like he's just finished his GCSEs. He's a cracking player.
And we could all sign his shirt and draw penises on the back.
That is exactly it.
Yeah, definitely. Moving on to Group D. Atalanta versus Midtjylland. All I've got here is the Schultz's goal was a beautiful half volley, going top bins. It was a cracking goal. Atalanta definitely had to reply from last week's game. They still need to go through that. Like, Atalanta to be in the final stage of this tournament is massive for them. So they really, really needed this. And it's, with like all due respect, it's Midtjylland. Not much really happened. Romero scored absolute bullet header. And the only thing of note I'd say from this is Traore, who United have signed, who's coming in January, came on for his debut with about 20 minutes to go. He looked really good, man. Yeah. You know who I'm talking about, though? The guy that came on, literally ran at everyone. Diallo. Yeah. Is it Diallo? He's got like Diallo on the back. Yeah, so he's coming in January, though, because we had to, with the transfer deal, it had to be January or something. But yeah, so that was that. That was that, really. The next game in Group D, Liverpool 1, Ajax 0. Ed, you can take the lead on this, seeing as how
No, it was far from easy. I was nervous going into this game. We're very up and down at the moment. You know, our squad looks like a graveyard. Liverpool are playing a 4-2-3-1 at the moment, but we're forced to use 2 midfielders at a time because we've only got 3 available. So that leaves us to overrun in the midfield because we have to use 2 in case one gets injured, because we've got to protect both the Premier League and the Champions League. And that means we get dominated in the centre of the park. And Ajax are quite a good passing team. The lads up front look tired. We're very wasteful with the ball. The only person who had a good game, in my opinion, not the only person who had a good game, but the only person who looked a threat in the first 45 minutes was Jones. He hit the post in the first half, which was the one of real effort. He had an opportunity just before that, and he gets the winning goal, the decisive goal. He's an academy prospect. I think a lot of people was probably expecting us to slip up, but perhaps because we didn't even have Adrian start. And we had the academy prospect, Callagher, come in, Irish, 18. Pulls off a good performance. Fair play to him. Fair play to him.
I don't think he had any like outstanding saves to make, but he was anything that came at him, he dealt with it well. He didn't look phased. He looked good, which is more than you can say for Onana, because the Liverpool goal it's unbelievable. Like, it's one of those things you see all the time. I can only imagine this is what he's doing, right? You know, when a cross comes over and the keeper like feigns to go to catch it and then leaves it because he knows it's going for like it's going to go out or whatever. Mm-hmm. I think that was what he was trying to do, because he comes for it and then just stops and kind of like relaxes, looks over his shoulder. And as he turns around, he just sees Curtis Jones steaming in back post. It's a tight finish as well. Do not get me wrong. It's a very good finish from Jones. It isn't just a tap-in. It's a good finish. But what is the keeper doing?
No, to be fair, he's made a blunder. It's a bit the defender and the goalkeeper have gave each other the eyes, haven't they? I think he's probably read facial expression, seen Jones behind him initially, and gone, that's going out. He's misjudged the height. I think he had a good performance besides that, because he saved a decent effort from Firmino.
Yeah, but he literally just switched off. I can only imagine that he genuinely has thought, right, it's going off for a goal kick. I'll do that thing where I'll go, leave it and make it look cool, and it's just an absolute shambles. But I mean, 3 points for Liverpool against Ajax is.
They're happy. I mean, 19-year-old Scouser scored a winner to send them to the knockout stages. I think Liverpool will be happy with this, not just from the Champions League perspective, but we've been struggling to score from open play. Jota didn't have a good game, so we're looking. I mean, it's hard to believe it when you look around the Liverpool team and you're going, where are the goals coming from? Obviously, we're a star-studded side, but we've looked a bit out of form. You get the win, and now we've got 4 or 5 days rest, which is probably the longest we've had in a long time, and hopefully we can just get the engine going again in that time.
I think the problem is because you don't play until. Do you play on the Sunday?
At Anfield, so I think that's probably the best thing for us.
But then is the Champions League on the Tuesday for you? Is your final game on a Tuesday?
No, on the Wednesday, because you played on the Wednesday.
Yeah. So that's not too much of it. That's not too bad. Klopp won't have
a second string team out, so
yeah, he won't be too upset with the fixture list. So the table looks like this after that game. Liverpool played 5, won 4, lost just the 1 to Atalanta, so they're sitting on 12 points. Atalanta played 5, won 2, drawn 2, lost 1. They're pretty consistent on 8 points. Ajax sitting there on 7, and Midtjylland will definitely not be playing European football after this on 1 point. Atalanta Ajax going down to the final day. Who do you think goes through?
I think Ajax will go through. I like what I saw from Ajax. I prefer Atalanta. Just look, what's the word? Expired. I don't know what it is with Atalanta. They don't have the mental toughness I think this Ajax team has, and I think, but it could easily go either way, without a doubt.
Do you know what? Luckily, it's one of the like the 5 to 6 games next week. So I'll definitely be that is the game I'll be watching. I don't know, man. Like Atalanta, they do have a nice blend of experience and youth. But like as you said, sometimes they're the nearly men. They get all the way, and then it just falls apart at the last minute. Like last season in Serie A, they had a really good push, and then the end of the season, it just kind of seemed to fall apart. Ajax, that won't be an easy game for either of them two. And you'd think Atalanta will be happy with a draw, but I don't think they'll sit back. I think it'll be a really good game of football. I think
Atalanta. I mean, this obviously because I'm not a fan of either. Obviously, Atalanta want to go to the knockout stage, but I think if Atalanta go to the Europa League, they'd be easily one of the favourites. And for them to win a European trophy would actually elevate their status some more. So it could be a good opportunity for them.
Speaking of people that elevated their European standings, Krasnodar got a result. They actually got 3 points against Stade Rennais. It's Krasnodar. Their only other point in the Champions League was this return fixture. The start was it? No. Well, this is what I've got here. The only points they've taken is off each other. So, and nothing really much happened in the game apart from Berg's goal, and it was very route one. It was a ball over the top, landed at Berg, and Berg scored. And it's finally a win in Europe for a Russian team at the 18th attempt, which is
18 attempts.
18th
Just
attempt.
throwing this out there. Don't the Stade Rennais logo look like something you see on like a blazer of a private school? And
100%.
and the Krasnodar one looks like it's sponsored the EFL Cup.
Yeah, a million. It does look like the Carabao logo. Yeah, the Stade Rennais logo looks like up Holcott House private school or something. Yeah, like 100%. Pure Draco Malfoy. Yeah, Draco Malfoy vibes. In the same group. Now, I didn't see this. I saw the result coming. I didn't see the scoreline coming. I actually had this. I had this on my ACCA. I had Chelsea to win. Didn't have them to win 4-0. Now, we will talk about this, and then we'll talk about something else at the same time. But the first goal from Giroud is beautiful. He goes into the box, gets the ball on his right foot, quickly switches it over to his left foot, curls it in. Beautiful. The second goal, keeper rushes out. Beautiful, beautiful little dink over him. Just goes past him to score. He then completed his hat trick with a near post header flick on that was really, really, really nice. And he scored. He won the penalty and scored the penalty to make it 4-0. Now, Chelsea absolutely breezed this group. They're looking great. They're looking great attacking wise. Do you think Giroud should be starting over Abraham?
Oh, if I was in charge, he always would. He's been one of my favourite players, low-key, since he was at Arsenal. He's an absolute baller. I think perhaps some people who don't really watch the game enough might think he's a bit lazy at times, or maybe his just movement is, but he is so talented. He's so talented. Abraham has actually been quite good this year, so I won't take that away from him. I don't think Abraham's league performance warrant losing his place, but Giroud is a better player in my opinion.
Well, I'm glad you've said that he's been one of your favourite players to watch since Arsenal, because that's the one thing I wanted to bring up. Obviously, with Arsenal struggling to score from open play recently, Lacazette's not scoring, Aubameyang's not scoring. How stupid? Well, not stupid. How silly of a move was it to let Giroud go? Not only just go, but go to Chelsea. Like, I look around the Arsenal team and I think there's a lot more players I'd have rather have got out the door first than Giroud.
They were kind of doing a clear out of the Wenger era, weren't they? Out with the old, in with the new. Giroud was there alongside Sanchez. Then I think Giroud was there when Aubameyang turned up. The thing is with Giroud, like on paper, you don't look at that and go, God, that's threatening. If your team's not playing well, you always look to the striker. I think he's just not flashy enough. So I think that's why a lot of teams have moved him on. Do you know what I mean? It's like
you say that, but these days, okay, maybe Aubameyang, but if I see Lacazette on a team sheet, I don't get scared. When he was playing for Lyon, if we'd have come up against Lyon in the Champions League and I saw Lacazette starting, then I'd be worried. When I see Lacazette on a team sheet now, I literally couldn't care less.
They was like on paper, they thought we'll get rid of Giroud. We've got Aubameyang and Lacazette. I mean, like that was a FIFA match dream in heaven, wasn't it? It was. But Giroud there's links of him going to Juventus, and you can now actually play for the same team in the knockout stages if you transfer during the January transfer window. Now, you used to have to wait 12 months because Coutinho did it from Liverpool to Barcelona. So he could suit that system.
There's no way Chelsea are looking to get rid of Giroud. No way.
That was before that performance.
But even then, I think he's been one of their. He's been a great servant, not only just to Chelsea, to the game. I mean, isn't it? There's only 2 or 3 players have scored more goals for France than Giroud. I think he's up there top 3 goals.
I mean, not his feet. I criticise Pogba. I don't care that he's a World Cup winner. I mean, that's for the international scene. That's fantastic. But Giroud is a World Cup winner and he's an absolute baller in the Premier League. So he deserves all the plaudits he gets.
Okay, so this is what we're talking about, right? When you're saying he's not flashy enough, right? Only one player has scored more international goals for France than Olivier Giroud. I mean, guess.
Thierry Henry.
Yeah, but Giroud has scored more goals than Platini, than David Trezeguet. Like,
when I said flashy, I went through the minds of the people who wanted him out. I thought they were idiots for getting rid of Giroud. I love Giroud. I was good. He went Chelsea. I would have took him to Liverpool.
Whenever United were playing Arsenal, whether Giroud started or he came off the bench, every time he came off the bench, I'd just be like, oh, here we go. Like, you just knew. because it's not even that he's just good with the ball at his feet. He is quite a tall man as well, and he is good in the air. And it's just like one way or the other. If you need a goal with 20 minutes to go, bring him on and just lump crosses to him. Honestly, I really like Giroud.
Oh, and if you've not watched much of Giroud play, type in his goals on YouTube. He's scored some of the best goals you'll ever see. Honest to God, he's scored some of the best goals you'll ever see.
That win for Chelsea left the table looking like this. Chelsea on top with 13 points, pretty much as you'd expect. Sevilla on 10 points. Can't believe Sevilla won't be in the Europa League next year. That's an absolute crying shame. Krasnodar look like they're going to get Europa League football next season with 4 points. And Rennes, 1 point. I honestly expected way more from them this Champions League campaign. Ed, who do you think's going through this group?
Okay, it's a tough choice between Krasnodar. Now, obviously, Chelsea and Sevilla are already through. I was quite surprised with how strong of a team Chelsea put out. I mean, I know they didn't have the likes of Werner in that end, but they were able to bring players like Pulisic back, who's returned from injury. I think Chelsea, man. I mean, obviously we know Chelsea and Sevilla have gone through, but I think Chelsea every week they look better, and every week my opinion on where they're going to finish the season changes. I honestly believe that they'll challenge on both fronts.
I think the thinking between putting out such a strong team in this game was, if you can get this Sevilla game out of the way and you can get 3 points, then come final group day, they're already through. Pretty much all they have to do is win or better Sevilla's results, sort of thing. So I think now they can rest some players. Who have they got next week? Have they got? They're
top of the group. They're top of the group no matter what.
They've got Krasnodar, haven't they? Final game.
They've got Krasnodar. They've also got plus 13 goal difference.
Exactly. So they could play whoever they want final game. So I think it was a good idea to try and
you're right.
Get that Sevilla game out of the way. Chelsea flying through by the looks of things. Moving on to the next group, it was the Ciro Immobile derby. Two teams he's played for. So it was his former club against his current club. Dortmund are missing. I almost said Alfinger Haaland. Then Dortmund are missing Haaland until New Year now, with a hamstring injury. Their first goal, quality interplay, edge of the box, little 1-2 passes, like you'd expect from Dortmund. Plays it into the box, and Guerrero, that's Rafael Guerrero, not Eddie Guerrero, scored just before the break to make it 1-1. And then it wouldn't be a Borussia Dortmund-Lazio game without a Ciro Immobile goal or a Ciro Immobile penalty. Immobile scores a penalty. It's a really weird penalty, this. I don't know if you've seen it. So it was Milinkovic-Savic gets fouled on the edge of just inside the box, edge of the box. Ref doesn't seem to want to have anything to do with it and kind of walks away from the situation. Then you see him hold his ear, and he just instantly turns back round and points to the spot. Like he didn't go to the monitor, and he did it almost as if someone just even said in his ear, not even to check the monitor. They just went, "Yeah, mate, that's a penalty," because he was walking away from the situation. He didn't look like he wanted to do anything, and then
do that. If someone goes, listen, that is a clear penalty.
I don't know, but he literally spun 180 and without even hesitation pointed to the spot, and that was it. They just gave the penalty. They did go to the VAR and look at it, and even then, it's one of those ones, man. Like Milinkovic-Savic is kind of already going down before there's contact, but there's contact, and we've said for the last 2 weeks with what's going on in the Prem, if you're silly enough to leave a foot or get involved, then you're inviting it on. It was a very, 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 very soft penalty, and Immobile scored it. So they share the points. The other game in this group, and do you know what? Obviously, I was speaking to you before this game, and I said I had Club Brugge to win this, and I had them to win it, but I didn't have them to win it 3-0. I mean, some of the defending for some of these goals from Zenit, there is no wonder that, like we said earlier, that it took so many attempts for a Russian team to win a game. Mate, Zenit have not won away in Europe in 5 years, and they finished bottom, and they finished dead bottom of their group last season too. For Club Brugge, this is their biggest ever home win in Europe. Well, Champions League, I think, actually. But it's their biggest ever home win in Champions League. 3-0. Fair play to him, man. Like, I love seeing clubs like Bruges come up and not just hang with the boys, but get some results, win some games. You're not there just to make up numbers. You're there for a reason. Like, obviously, you either won your league last season, you finished in a decent position. It's just nice to see teams like that do well. Zenit, I literally can't stand Zenit since the days of AVB and Hulk. I don't know why. Massive irrational hatred of them.
It just seemed tacky, didn't it? It just seemed tacky.
Awful. And like we were saying last week, I think like Zenit have still got like Yuri Zhirkov and who's your man from Liverpool that just went this season? Lovren. And they've got Lovren. So Yuri Zhirkov and Lovren.
In my mind, mate. I've got traumatic stress from it. Club Brugge needed the win. Zenit were already out. Zenit were already out. So Club Brugge could now actually qualify.
Yeah, well, there you go. As you said, let's bring up the table. Dortmund are top with 10 points. Lazio second with 9. Club Brugge hanging with the big boys on 7. And Zenit with 1 point yet again. So for 2 years on the bounce, they're going to finish dead bottom of a group. But yeah, Club Brugge could still make it through. I mean, it'd be miraculous if they made it through, but they could still make it through. Dortmund, you'd expect go through, don't you?
Yeah, Dortmund are through. It's just a case of I think Lazio play Bruges, don't they? So that is the defining fixture of that. I expect Lazio because I'm a big Immobile fan, but Club Brugge have Mignolet goal, so chances of them getting through slim, in my opinion. But if Club Brugge did pull it off, I would be happy for him.
Do you know, I love Immobile. I just really wish it had worked for him at a top league, because not that Serie A isn't a top league, but he went to Sevilla and he was awful. He went to Dortmund and he was awful. His record for Lazio is outstanding. Like,
he had like 27 goals last year. It was crazy.
And the rest, he's top goal scorer. I think he finished top goal scorer in Serie A. But yeah, I love Immobile. More to the point, though, I love Milinkovic-Savic from Lazio. They've got a
Lazio finished third in a 2-horse race? Because I think before the break they were like solidly second, and then into
they pushed it all the way. They pushed it all the way, and then just kind of like, Moving on. Poor Ferencváros. There we go. Right, first time. No double takes. Ferencváros. Oh, and then I've got it wrong that time. Ferencváros lost 3-0 to Barcelona. Griezmann with a tidy little flick finish. But goal number 2 on the 20th minute from Martin Braithwaite, showing you why you should gamble on it. It was a ball into the corridor of uncertainty. He slides in. He ends up getting the ball and scores. No. So 2 years ago this week, on the Tuesday, he was on the bench for Middlesbrough in the Championship. He's on the bench for Borough, and here he is. And this is his 3rd Champions League goal in 2 games. So I mean,
it's his 4th goal in a week.
Barca signed him for dodgy reasons, and it was naughty the way they were allowed to sign him. But yeah, fair play to him. Like, well, obviously, for those that don't know the story, Barca last season had injury problems and were granted, for whatever reason, because they're Barcelona, they were granted the chance to sign an emergency loan signing. Now, he was the main striker from the team that were like dead bottom. He was their top goal scorer. So Barca just took him. No ifs, no buts, just took him. Everyone wondered at the time why they've bothered with it. Hey, listen, fair play to him.
With him though, I don't care if I'm not even going to play. I'll go Barcelona.
Yeah, of course you would. Dembele scored a penalty in the 28th minute to wrap it up. 3-0 at half-time. That was it. Barca took the foot off the gas.
It's resurgence of players without Messi. I mean, Dembele was one of the young hot prospects. Griezmann was one of the best strikers in the world. I can't say the same for Braithwaite, but still.
We can't all play for Middlesbrough.
We can't all play for Middlesbrough.
Obviously, Dembele is massively injury prone, so we don't really need to talk about that. That's why his form's dipped in and out. What is with Griezmann? Because when he was at Atletico, not even just the season before Barca brought him, for 3 years, Griezmann was consistently one of the best players in Europe. He was fantastic to watch. He scored all types of goals. He was everywhere, whether he was out on the wing, whether he was out like playing centre forward, whether he was up front. What has gone wrong for him?
Well, he was the biggest threat when Atletico were coming up against Barcelona and Real Madrid. He was that caliber of player. He could have played for Real Madrid or Barcelona. He makes the move to one of them, completely flops. Because to be fair, I will give him some credit. We could do a whole podcast on this. That is the Messi problem. Even Ronaldo, even Real Madrid with all their great marquee signings, everyone became second fiddle to Ronaldo. Like, it's crazy what they've done for their clubs, but it has a negative impact as well.
Yeah, well, like you said, like the narrative is that when Griezmann signed, Messi wasn't a fan. He didn't want the deal and sort of like blackballed him, sort of thing. But who knows? To be a fly on the wall in that dressing room would be wonderful. Also in their group, Juventus also won 3-0 against Dynamo Kiev. Chiesa scored the first goal with a nice header. It's his first goal for Juventus since his loan move from Fiorentina. The Ronaldo goal is so. Do you know what? It's like karma for him. He's got his just desserts. All those years ago when Ronaldo scored that, well, he did score the goal, but it was ruled out. When Ronaldo scored that great goal and Nani stole it on the line, and Ronaldo was furious. Morata did all the work for this. It looked like it was already going in, and Ronaldo, like a 12-year-old down the park, literally on the line, just absolutely hammers it home. You love to see it. But that is Ronaldo's 750th career goal. No, this isn't no Pele stats. We're not counting playing Frimley tea rooms on a Tuesday with your nan in goal. These are real goals. These are real goals that are really like. They've counted. We've actually seen them.
They really happened.
They really happened. It wasn't a hat trick. It wasn't a hat trick with my cat Malro in goal. These are real goals. 750 career goals. This man is a joke. I'm sick of seeing him. Sick of hearing him. Come home, Ronaldo. If you're listening, I know you listen to the show. Come home. Morata scored yet again. He's on a nice bit of run of form. Morata, which actually, I'll tell you what, after this, we'll go into my next thing. So Morata's on a really good run of form. He scored again, simple goal. This game also featured the first female ref in a Champions League game ever, which is really good to see. She's a really good ref. She's actually done Europa League, she's done internationals, she's done league games. So, hey, if you're good enough...
You know what? I think she did a Liverpool Europa League game.
She may have done. But it's one of those things. It doesn't matter if she's female or not. If she's good enough, get her out there. Get her out there. It can't be much worse than what we're dealing with. Well, I say that makes it sound condescending, but with the state of officiating now, like, I'll take any good ref that we can, male, female, doesn't matter. If it's a good ref, get him involved. Dog, cat, yeah, exactly. Which leaves the group. It leaves the group looking like this. I mean. Wow. Barcelona played 5, won 5, goal difference of 14, plus 14 on 15 points. Juventus played 5, won 4, lost 1 against Barcelona on 12 points with a goal difference of 7. Kiev and Ferencvaros on 1 point apiece. I mean, the only way I could have predicted this table being any different was Barca and Juve drawn against each other, and so they'd both be on the same points and win the same amount of games. Going into the last game of the group stage, am I right in thinking that Dynamo Kiev and Ferencvaros have each other?
Yeah, they do. This is Barcelona, Juventus, Ronaldo, Messi, last ever time.
For the last time. Until they're both playing in the MLS.
Okay, the last time it matters. Champions League is this. I mean, it could be the last time. We don't know for sure. But it's a big thing.
I'm telling you now, bollocks to Barca and Juve. If Ferencvaros win this game against Kiev, if Ferencvaros go into the Europa League, I'm getting a shirt. You can't not follow them if they go through this group. Like, look at what can you do? It's Ferencvaros. Dynamo Kiev, I've heard of you. You've had some good players in the past. Don't worry about it. Ferencvaros, Ferrero Rocher, Christmas time. We're all backing. We're all backing. So right, we're just going to quickly, before we go on to Group H, and I'll get upset about things. I just wanted to bring this up. So here's the Champions League top goal scorers at the moment. I know we're not done with the group stage just yet, But I just wanted, we've talked about a few of these players tonight, so it just made sense to talk about it. So joint top of the goal scoring charts in the Champions League, we've got Alvaro Morata on 6, Marcus Rashford on 6, Erling Haaland on 6, and then you have Olivier Giroud and Alassane Plea on 5 apiece. Morata on 6 is nice to see for him because his career definitely needed that rejuvenation. I know we talked about the other week about him bouncing around clubs. It's good to see him finally scoring goals. Rashford on 6, it's nice to see. Champions League, he really seems to come alive in the Champions League. Like, I don't know what the differences is between United or Rashford and playing in Europe to playing in the Prem. But yeah, Haaland on 6, and I imagine that will still go up after when he comes back. Giroud on 5 with 4 of them coming in one night. So that's a bit of a, not an anomaly, but whatever. And Alassane Plea, I'm telling you now, if he is not Premier League bound in the summer or January, I'll be so shocked. He was incredible last season for Mönchengladbach. He's on it again this season. He's just so good. Like, when you see Newcastle spending 50 million on Joel Linton or whatever, and you see Player is about, it's mad. It's mad. So yeah, it's just nice. It's just nice to see.
It's nice to see, but you see this all the time in the group stage. I mean, I think Haaland scored 9 last year, and it's nice to see some surprising additions. But the real goals which matter are the ones in the knockout stages. It's nice to see. You see who's in form. It just shows who's in form, but you see who the real players are when we get to the latter stages.
So the final group and the final set of games this week.
Sorry.
Oh no, not that. That's that.
Spoiler.
Spoiler. We started with Başakşehir against Leipzig, which was actually, do you know what? Me and Ed were both watching this, and we were in a bit of a video talk because we were trying new things out and whatnot for the stream, not personally. And honestly, this could have been 3-4 nil Leipzig at halftime. Poulsen scored a goal. It's very Kane World Cup 2018. Sabitzer has a shot from about 30 yards. Poulsen's running into the box and it's come off the back of his foot and gone in. It's very sloppy. It shouldn't even count as his goal. Mukwele scored the second goal. Ball falls to him. It's a right back's finish. It's a half decent finish, but the goalkeeper is literally rooted to the spot, doesn't move, trickles into the bottom corner. 2-0, and you're thinking, right, this is simple. They could have scored 3, whatever, game over. Then Kvetchi, who needs signing after this game, had other ideas with an absolute belter of a crisp finesse finish from outside the box. It's literally curled round everyone. They show the replay, and there's 2 Leipzig defenders that it literally bends around like inch perfect. Great goal. So it's 2-1 at halftime. Then Danny Olmo scores in the 66th minute to make it 3-1 Leipzig. It was a tidy goal, and you genuinely thought, right, this is it. 3-1, coasting. We're coasting. Then Kvetchi decides, nope, not having this, and scores another absolute banger from outside the box to make it 3-2. Then he scores another goal from outside the box with a free kick. It was so beautiful. It was outside the box, nice angle, hits the bar to go in, 3-3. So he's never scored 2 or more goals in a game in his career, right? He's got a hat-trick and not one of them is inside the box. So he's had a great game. And then just when you think it was all said and done, that prolific striker that used to play for Crystal Palace, Alexander Sorloth, scores in the 93rd, 92nd. And do you know what? It's such a heartbreak for Başakşehir because I think the keeper should do more here. It's hit from distance and it's hit straight at him and it kind of just goes through him and it's just unfortunate. But it was a great game for something that we thought was dead at half time. It was a really good watch for the neutral.
Yeah, Leipzig have done well to get this win. I tell you what, if they had dropped points in this game, and well, with the result that happened just after this, they would have been in a really tricky situation. What Leipzig's win what Leipzig's win Wednesday has done is completely reshaped the final day of this group. But we'll get into that very shortly.
There wasn't any more games of football that night, so that has been us. Will see us? No, anyway. Moving on to the next game. Manchester United Manchester United 1, PSG 3. Lot to digest from this game. Honestly, it's just one of those games where if you don't take your chances, like there's no way that a 3-1 scoreline should be the case. Like, there's no way. Like, that's very flattering to PSG. I'm not being bitter or biased. It's just the way the game panned out. PSG took the lead after 6 minutes from Neymar. It was a really, really scrappy goal to concede. Defense went to sleep. I'm looking at De Gea. Fair play, it's Neymar, and it's a great finish. But I'm looking at De Gea there getting beat at his near post again. I'm kind of getting sick of talking about that. But PSG took the lead, left it all up to us to do. But literally from that moment forward, it seemed to be we were a better team. We were attacking. We being Manchester United, obviously. I keep saying we. Sorry. And United they were on the front foot. They were positive. Rashford equalised in the 32nd minute. It was on target, but it wasn't going in. But it's taken a deflection and gone in. Everything's hunky dory. I don't know if the Fred incident was before this or after this. I can't remember what time it was. But let's get into the Fred incident, shall we? So basically, off the ball incident, there was a tackle that someone didn't agree with, and Paredes has come up and squared up to Fred. Paredes is instigated, but Fred, being petulant, he's literally they're head to head, and he's shoved him. He's given him a little. He's moved his head, whatever. The minute Fred's done it, he's put his hands up, so he knows he's done wrong. Instantly thought it was a red card. I thought, right, brilliant. This is great. This is all we need. Then it went to the VAR. I don't know why it went to the VAR because I thought the ref had got it right. But this is where my whole confusion comes in, right? I'm not saying it's not a red card. I understand that Paredes instigated it and then went down like he'd been shot, but Fred has moved his head towards him. So that's that part of it. But the ref has looked at the replay. And this is because they even spoke about this at BT. They said, so surely the case is it a red or not? It shouldn't be, is there a yellow card involved? It's red card, yes or no. But the ref hasn't even just decided that. He's looked at it, and he only took a couple of seconds to look at it as well. He didn't spend a long time looking at it. And then he's come over and booked Fred. Now, I can only speculate that the only reason he's booked Fred rather than sent him is thinking that Paredes instigated and he's gone down easily or whatever. And if that's the case, and I'm not saying that Fred shouldn't have been sent off, I'm saying if that's the way the ref's seen it, then Paredes should be booked as well. Not that makes any difference, but I just don't understand the logic of the referee's decision in whatever. But all of my friends in the WhatsApp group, we've got a Manchester United WhatsApp group. They used to be season ticket holders until the Rona. And we all said at half-time, like, get him off. Fred needs to come off before he gets sent off. And you don't even need to be a United fan to see that. It was just very obvious. Ed, I'm assuming you'd have even been like, get him off before he gets sent off. I was very surprised to see him come out for the second half. But just before he got sent off, PSG took the lead again with a Marquinhos goal that was it was just another sloppy goal. It was a set piece that wasn't dealt with. The ball's ricocheting around. The cross comes in. It was very tight to being offside. And I wonder, and this isn't sour grapes, I'm just saying in the Premier League, they'd have drawn two lines. They'd have done a blue and a red line. And it was very, very tight. There was studs hanging over a line or two. At the end of the day, it's a goal. PSG went 2-1 up. And from the kickoff, the ball is hammered at Fred. He takes a mad heavy touch, slides in to win the ball, and he does win the ball, which is the annoying thing. He slides in to win the ball, ref sends him off. Now, I know a lot of criticism is going to be aimed at Ollie for not taking him off at halftime because, like we just said, even I said take him off at halftime. My friends said take him off at halftime. Twitter said take him off at halftime. We don't know what was said during the halftime. He would have said to him, "I trust you. Just don't be stupid." It's very harsh sending off, given the fact he was only given the yellow. I get that, so he probably should have been sent off anyway. Do you think that the ref saw at half-time that he should have sent him off and thought, I've got his number. Next time he does anything, he's going.
Yeah, I mean, the cynical in you will always think that. I sometimes think that. We'll never truly know. We're just speculating. The thing is, though, I'm sure he might, like, let's say he said to him, I trust you, don't do anything stupid. I've seen PSG come up against a lot of English sides, a lot of tough English sides, and it is brutal. 90 minutes feels like 180 minutes. Like Neymar is like a Beyblade when he hits the floor. It's a brutal watch. It's an absolute brutal watch. And but
that's a great reference.
I can't stand it. But everyone knew what was everyone knew what was going to happen in that second half.
Yeah.
So listen, I think everyone's making a big meal out of it. Everyone was talking about it on the radio. It's been all over my social media. Get over it. Do you know what I mean? Like, we've got to get over it now. I say we. I'm not. You know what I mean? I'm just saying, get over it. Push on. I think we're all just trying to find new ways of having a go at Ole Gunnar Solskjaer.
That's it. Like this reverse fixture when we beat him, he was the best manager in Europe. Give him a chance. You're all being unfair. And the same media outlets that were saying that 2 weeks ago. Now we lose. It's like, well, he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's like, we probably should. He probably should have taken him off. But again, who knows what was said? We just don't know. And you don't expect to get sent off for that. But I tell you what, though, I don't even blame. This is where my anger is. This is where I'm going to get like boiling pot anger. Sure. My anger isn't aimed at Ollie. My anger isn't aimed at Fred. Right?
Leave my dog out.
Now, and this isn't a knee-jerk reaction thing. This isn't the last 2 or 3 weeks. This has been since the start of this season, right? How can I tell my children that Martial misses that at 1-0? Like, look at it. Literally roll that bottom left-hand corner, barely touch it. Take a touch, put it in the other corner, whatever. Martial misses that at 1-0. And the game is so different. The game is so different if you go 2-1 up there. Because don't forget, we only need a point. We go 2-1 up, then maybe, he does take Fred off of Van der Beek. Like, whatever. We haven't got to worry too much about, not worry about defending, but, okay, we've got to concede 2 to not go through now. Martial also, from Cavani, was it when Cavani hit the bar from, oh my God, that chip. It drops to Martial. If he takes a touch, it's an open goal, but he's just hammered it at the defender again.
And very honestly, casual. He's a very casual player for someone who doesn't score many goals.
I'm sick of it, man. I'm sick of it. Like, everyone wants to talk about, and especially at last night, I was looking for an argument on Twitter, and everyone was telling me about, well, look how many goals he scored last season. Okay, cool. Michu scored like 25 goals in one season. Then what happened to the guy? Like, I'm just so sick of Martial. I've probably said this in the last 2 or 3 shows we've actually done, actually. Even when we beat Everton, I was like, did we beat Everton?
Yeah, you beat Everton 3-1.
Yeah. And I was just absolutely sick of him. He was falling down at every touch he got, wandering around, sulking, pouting, wanders around the pitch. He doesn't run in behind. He doesn't offer space. He literally wants ball to feet and he needs an open goal. And right, don't get me wrong, last season I brought into the hype massively when he was scoring 20 goals and everything he touched was going in, great. This season, I don't even want to see him near a starting lineup. He needs to prove himself. He needs to come off the bench. Excuse me. And it's games like this where I know he's on a bad run and he's a confidence player, but you can't account for that. Like, this is where, like we were saying about the Ollie thing, it's a double-edged sword, right? Yeah, you can moan at Ollie for not bringing Fred off. Mate, he's not telling players to miss open goals. He's not telling players to miss sitters. He's not telling players not to do what they're there to do. As far as I'm concerned, I don't want to see Martial in a United shirt. And that's wrong. I don't want to see Martial starting in a United shirt for a while until he gets it together, man. Because it's clearly not there for him at the minute. And if anyone else would have been in that position, I'm telling you, it's a goal, man. It's just nuts. I do want. I'm gonna absolutely butcher this. But Shishinja, is literally dropping all these. Daniel James has more goals than Mbappe. Mbappe hasn't scored a Champions League goal in a long time. His last one at the Parc des Princes was like 2018, and I will say he was really quiet last night.
No, Mbappe is a bit of a diva, man. He does it not only he does it with his performances on the pitch. He's got one foot out of PSG. You can tell he's ready for his next step. I think he's become a bit bored of it. The Champions League record is poor, but you could name 99% of players on this planet, and I would take Mbappe over them, regardless of his Champions League.
100%.
So,
yeah. And do you know what? Just to compound the misery, Neymar scored in the 91st minute. United sent everyone up for a corner, breakaway. It was pure FIFA sweat from Rafinha. He cut inside, and it looked like he was going to shoot, and he literally just laid it back to Neymar. Maguire's on the floor in the goal. Keeper's nowhere. Tapping for Neymar, which I was really, really upset about because I don't think Neymar deserved. I wouldn't have been too upset if someone else would have scored that goal, but just Neymar and his histrionics and just the way he acted in that game, I just didn't want him to score so much. And it is what it is, man. Like, it's a loss. You learn from it. You move. We only need. Let's bring up the table. No, that's not the table. There we go. Let's bring up the table. So we only need a point in the final game, but the problem is that point needs to come away at Leipzig. Now,
you lose your out.
No, we don't. So here's the crazy thing. This is the mind. We've got a mind-bending group, right? If we win at Leipzig and PSG win, we can only finish second. We can still lose and top this group, but if we win, we can't top the group. If we win, we still don't top the group, because that table, I don't know why it's like that, but that table at the minute is it doesn't go into effect. But the final day of the season, if we all finish on those points, it doesn't count that way, because PSG have a better head-to-head compared to us over everyone. Basically, it's really confusing. I literally had to we had to download the rules the other day, and there's a whole different set of things about why United can win and finish second and lose and finish first. But we've left it way too late, and we've loads to do. And the thing is, fair enough, if you'd have shown me that group coming into it, we had PSG and Leipzig, who were the finalists and the semi-finalists, I'd have been like, okay, we probably won't get out of it. But the start we gave ourselves to now have to get something on the final day is really, really, really frustrating. Ed, who do you see going through that group?
PSG, obviously. PSG will get a win against Istanbul. Mbappe is going to get his goal because it's going to be against Istanbul.
Yep.
I think it's going to be a draw at Leipzig. I think Man United go through on 10 points, finishing second to PSG, who'll be on 12. But I don't want Man United. I mean, I doubt there's many Man United fans feeling too confident, because Leipzig are a really tough side to play away. Just want that to be known. They are a very tough side. And if you don't get through, I'm not sure how the Manchester United fan base will take it. Because
but that's the thing.
It's a tough Premier League season. You're well within your right to get in the top four. You're good enough to get in the top four. If you win your game in hand, I think you're sitting third. So, it's not that.
We win our game in hand. We win our game in hand with 2 points behind Liverpool.
If you go out of the Champions League this early on, your season can become very lackluster. It's always nice to have it to look forward to, and I think it will do Ollie the world of good. Even if he gets knocked out of the round 16, stay in the Champions League till February.
100% the way the game is going to go against Leipzig. You just know, right? We'll concede first within the first 10 minutes of something, leave it really late. It'll be really horrible, and we'll equalise with about 10 minutes to go, and it'll be holding on. Or even if we take the lead, they'll equalise and we'll be holding on. I'm not entirely confident, and it's going to be a bit scary. Just one last comment there from Shoshana. Bayern is doing back-to-back, guys. I don't like them, but I don't see anyone challenge them. Listen, we echo that sentiment. We both think that Bayern team at the minute is absolutely ridiculous. When you can bring Leroy Sané off the bench, like, what can you do? What can you do?
I think the only two teams who can challenge them are Man City and Liverpool, but that's not the Man City and Liverpool of today. Man City and Liverpool need to get their mojo and players back from the death. But the chances of that happening with the continued injuries they're probably still going to get, it's got to be Bayern. Has to be Bayern.
But that's the thing. There is once the match day 6 is done, there is quite a big break until the Champions League returns. So hopefully,
for them, not for the Premier League.
No, not for the Premier League, but hopefully people will get players fit. You'll be able to bring players in January and whatnot, and we'll see what happens. Anything can happen between now and then, but wonderful. And that has been us for the Champions League. Now, do we have some watch-alongs this weekend, Ed?
Yes, we will. And I'm just going out on a limb saying this. We'll be doing Liverpool versus Wolves this Sunday. Yeah, that is the only one we shall be doing this weekend.
Oh, wonderful. Not that it matters to our situation, but I just wanted to. This is hilarious. So Celtic raced into a 2-0 lead against AC Milan in the Europa League. 2-0 after 14. 2-0 after 14 minutes. Celtic. They lost 4-2. Up the boys.
Dreadful. Absolutely dreadful.
Absolutely fuming because Lille came from 1-0 down, and with 10 minutes left and 10 men, they scored 2 goals and won. So the only team that ruined my ACCA, Tottenham Hotspur, drawing 3-3 against absolute nobodies. Who did they draw against? Last.
Tottenham will still go through, but I think Tottenham have to play Antwerp again. If they lose and the other team wins, they could go out.
Yeah, Tottenham. Well, if Lask beat Ludogorets and Tottenham lose to Antwerp, that's it. Curtains. Yeah, wonderful. Unlikely. Thank you very much. Unlikely, it is unlikely. But thank you very much, everyone, for joining us, for watching us, for tuning in, for your comments. Don't forget, let me do this before I forget. Don't forget, you can follow us on all our social medias. Here we are on YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. It's all up to Up Top Football. We just broke 3,000 followers on Facebook this weekend, which was really lovely for us. So if you could do us a favor, go onto YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, or Instagram, any of them, especially this video on YouTube. If you could like, if you could subscribe, if you hit the little thumbs up so it gives us a like, it means the world to us, because it just makes it a lot easier for us to get our videos out there to the right people. So from me, I'm going to say thank you very much, and we'll see you next week. And from Ed,
see you later, guys.
That was a nice one. That was a nice. See you later. But yeah, we'll see you later.